All right, well, hi everyone. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Thank you, Sharai Tala, Jemmy, and Imana for really helping make this happen, and for inviting Hadar again to come back and do her stellar baking workshop. And also thank you, Matthew, I know you're out there from elsewhere. He was also sponsoring this in Greensboro, North Carolina, and the Greensboro Contemporary Jewish Museum. So thanks everyone for putting this all together and giving Hadar love and support to bring what she loves to do to the world. So, you know, I was like gonna say something about why we make cheesecake on Shavuot, and the truth is that I don't actually know, but it's just a tradition. And I made a mental note to look it up, but I'm not gonna pretend to even know why we do it. But we're just stepping into tradition, and Hadar loves to bake and loves to make cheesecake, and we make the cheesecake that she's going to share with you today, and also vegan cheesecakes. And those people who want to take the risk of going vegan with today's recipe, go for it. Let us know how it works out, because we have a totally separate recipe for the vegan cheesecake that we do, and today is super duper dairy. So I'm gonna turn it over to Hadari.
Hi. So I guess you can just start. So we're gonna start with making the crust, which is a graham cracker crust, and I'm using gluten-free graham crackers. So you can use those if you like, and you need to have a bowl, and you're going to have a bowl ready to pour the graham crackers into it afterwards. So you can just open the box if it's not already open.
I'll also just jump in and say that if anyone has any questions along the way, just raise your hand or unmute yourself and speak up, or send something in the chat, and we'll try to keep following.
And so you're gonna, they might be broken up, but that's all right, because you're anyways gonna break them up. So I'm gonna use a scale to weigh 300 grams. But if you don't have a scale or something, you can just use like 1 pack or 1.5 packs, which is normally the amount that I use, but I like weighing it because it's very exact when you do that.
Well, it did say 2.5 cups, so can we go by?
I can know that. Okay. So now you're gonna get a so I think it said on the recipe I'm not sure if it said this, but you're gonna need either like a Vitamix or a food processor or something that can crush the graham crackers. So you're just gonna take that after you've measured everything and put it in. I'm using a Vitamix, so just put all the graham crackers you're using into there.
And we'll mute when we do the blending.
Yes. And you may want to break it up before you put it in so that it's in a bit of smaller chunks. So I'm going to mute for a second while I blend.
Hadar, you're still muted.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, good. So, is everyone done blending their things? Okay, good. I need one more second to do that. Okay, so now, you can now pour your crumbs of the graham crackers into a bowl, and you want to shake the bowl, make sure there's no big chunks in it, and if there's chunks, then you're gonna want to maybe break this up either with your hands or something.
Laundry person for your.
I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Okay, good. So after you poured it in, you're gonna have to go. I'm gonna switch into the kitchen. So, and you're gonna want to bring some butter into the kitchen, or you can just do it right here. So I'm gonna get a stick of butter, and you're gonna need to cut it with a knife to get the exact amount of tablespoons. And if you're dairy free, you can just use coconut oil or something coconut oil or coconut butter or vegan butter, but I'm gonna use butter. So you're gonna get 5 tablespoons of butter. And then cut it right there. Just measure it. And then when you're done with that step, while you're doing that, I'm gonna move into the kitchen. Okay, so
You gotta eat that.
can you hear me? Okay, so give me a thumbs up when you're done measuring the butter. Okay, it looks like everyone's thumbs up. Okay, so now you're gonna need a saucepan, and you're gonna need your butter that you just measured. So you're just gonna take the butter, put it in the saucepan, and you're gonna put the saucepan on the stove, and put it on number 2. And if you want it to go a bit quicker, you can put it on 3 or 4, but I like putting it 2 or 3. And then if your stove, some stoves heat up slower and some stoves heat up faster. So it depends how your stove works. So ours heats up pretty quickly. So I'm just gonna put it on a lower heat. And while you wait that to heat up, you're gonna, I'm gonna go back in there and we're gonna start the batter for the cheesecake. Okay, so once you've started the butter on the stove, you're gonna start making your cheesecake batter. And you're gonna start with your cream cheese. So I use 24 ounces of cream cheese. So you're gonna need the pack. I get 3 packs, and that's how much that makes the 24 ounces. So you can just open all your packs. And so once you've opened that, you're gonna, so some people are using food processors, some people are using different materials for mixing these. I'm using a stand mixer. You can use a stand mixer, a hand mixer, a food processor, or I think that's it. You can also use like a hand blender. So just anything that is gonna maybe blend this together. So you're gonna give me a thumbs up when you're done with that step, please. So just give a thumbs up, please, when you're done. Okay, so when you're done with that step, again, just give a thumbs up. And there's also most likely going to be extra cream cheese on the wrapper. So you can just use like a silicone spatula or a spoon or something that might scrape that off, and just scrape that into your whatever you're using to blend this. Tell when everyone has their thumbs up. Say when everyone has their thumbs up.
I see one thumbs up. When you're up, another, Nora, Michael, Carolyn and Elliot, Ibby and Lev. All right.
Okay, so what you're gonna do now is you're gonna, so whatever you're using, a hand mixer, a food processor, a hand blender, or a stand mixer, you're gonna just mix that until it's smooth. You might just want to like push in the cream cheese so that it's all in the bowl so it all gets blended. Then turn that on. So you can give a thumbs up when you're done mixing that.
And don't forget your butter that's on the stove. Don't let it burn.
Yeah. Oh, and when you're done with this step, you can just turn your oven on, on 250. You're gonna preheat your oven.
275.
I mean 275, sorry. 275, you're gonna preheat your oven. Just give a thumbs up when you're done with this. And if you're using like a hand mixer or stand mixer, most likely all the cream cheese is gonna get stuck to the blade. And that can make it very difficult. So it's okay if that happens because you're gonna add liquid and the liquid is gonna help separate that. Okay, so just give a thumbs up. So you can just do a thumbs up when you're done with this step.
And just in case we don't have enough dairy, we're gonna add some more dairy in the next step.
Yes.
Is anybody doing a vegan version of this very recipe? No. Okay.
Has anyone gone to this point without tasting it?
Oh yeah.
I have.
have.
Okay. I think it looks like most everyone has their thumbs up.
All right. Looks like we're all thumbs up, ready to go to the next deeper dairy stage.
Okay, so we have to get some yogurt now. So we're gonna get some yogurt, and I'm just gonna open mine. So I like to use Nancy's yogurt, but you're supposed to use Greek yogurt. You can use just a very creamy yogurt. So I really like this brand because it's very creamy. Okay, so I'm gonna use a silicone spatula to get this out, but first I'm gonna measure it. So I'm going to need, I need 1 cup of Greek yogurt. So I'm gonna take my measuring cup and just scoop it in with the silicone spatula. You can also use a spoon, just something that will help scoop it in. Let's see. Just give a thumbs up when you're done with this step. looks like most everyone has thumbs up.
Yeah, we're almost all there.
Okay, so I think we're ready to move on. So now we're going to take that Greek yogurt, and it doesn't have to be Greek yogurt, that creamy yogurt, and we're going to pour it into, oh yeah, I'm going to lift up my spoon. Oh gosh, everything stuck to it, but that's all right. Okay, so I'm going to pour my Greek yogurt in. Okay.
Okay.
Good. So you're just gonna want to mix that, and it may splatter over, so you may want to get something that keeps it. I have this thing that's an attachment. So
Mix it all up.
Our whole table's shaking.
So you may want to use like if you're using a food processor, you're gonna want to mix that. If a hand mixer, you're gonna want to keep using that.
It's gonna be sticky and gooey
Yes, and
and
it's
stuck to
gonna-
the sides for a
It's
little
gonna
while.
it's gonna take a while to get unchunked, but
Keep
If
it in
anyone
the
has some kitchen music you want to share with us for while you're blending, that's awesome.
give it a good swirl.
so just give a thumbs up when you're done with this step. It's gonna need a lot of mixing, and there may be some little tiny chunks of cream cheese, but that's actually I like that texture because then when you cut into it and you eat it, it's kind of a bumpy texture and it's really yummy.
True. Does anyone have any questions? You can unmute yourself. Looks like Bobby, you might have a question. No?
No, I'm good. We're good.
I see everyone's taking nice licks along the way. That's good too. Thumbs up when you're ready to go to the next step. I think we're mostly there.
Okay. So I think we're ready to move on. So just a heads up, if you didn't preheat your oven, it's best to do it now. Okay, so if you've already done that, you're ready to move on. So after you add the yogurt, you're gonna want the next step is to add the eggs. So you're gonna need 4 large eggs, and it's okay if they're not at room temperature, but it is good when they're at room temperature. So you're gonna need a bowl and another bowl, a small bowl and a medium bowl, and 4 eggs. So I'm using a small bowl at first to make sure there's no blood in the egg. So if you don't do that, so like see there's no little red dots, so I'm just gonna put it into the medium bowl. I'm gonna crack all 4 eggs into there. I actually like to crack my eggs on a flat surface because the flat surfaces actually are easier. So when you crack on a surface like on a bowl or something, most people do that, but I find it much easier to crack on a flat surface because then when you crack it, none of the egg shell goes in. So just give a thumbs up when you're done cracking all the eggs. Okay. Can you just... Okay, I'm gonna mute 1 second. Okay, so just thumbs up when you're done. Okay, so that's good. Just gonna put the last egg in. Okay, so once you're done with that step, you can give a thumbs up. Okay, so it looks like most everyone's ready. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna add the eggs in. I really like using a spoon for this process. I like taking the yolk one at a time and then placing it in, and then mixing, and then placing it in and mixing. And so after you put all your yolks in, you can just keep mixing and pour all the white in. Just give it a thumbs up when you're done with this step. Yes, and I forgot to mention, probably a while ago, your butter was done melting. So you most likely turned the stove off, but if you didn't, just turn it off. Okay, so just give a thumbs up when you're done with this step. And now it should be a bit liquidy now, much more liquidy than it was from the first step. Okay. Looks like most everyone has the thumbs up. So just give a thumbs up when you're done. Okay. Okay, so it looks like most everyone. Oh, I'm gonna give one more minute to finish mixing and then we'll move on. Okay, it looks like most everyone has thumbs up. Okay, so I think we're ready. So next we're gonna put this off to the side for a little bit and we're gonna finish working on the crust. So just gonna go and grab our melted butter and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back with my butter and I'm just gonna and then so now I am going. Okay, so now I'm just gonna pour my butter into my graham cracker mixture. It's nice and blended like this, and then I'm just gonna pour it in. And then mix it up with a spoon. I don't really like using a fork for this, otherwise all of it will get stuck on the fork, or I also don't like using a whisk for this part. And you don't want everything to be liquidy, but you want the wet to get everywhere. So I blended it so there's a bit more chunks because I like having that, but not everyone does. So once that's all mixed up, you should be able to take it and make it into a ball like this. You should be able to like make it in a ball, like every part of it should be able to be made into a ball without it falling apart. So that means that it has wet everywhere. And so just give a thumbs up when you're done with that step. And if you want to get your hands in there, you can also just put your hands in and mix it all up like this. just give a thumbs up when you're done with this step, please.
Or on the stove.
Hadar. Ours is a little bit crumbly still. It's like this. Should we add more butter to it?
See you.
Can't see it.
No, oh, now I see you. Yeah, so, is it like crumbly, like you can only feel it dry, or is it crumbly like it's wet everywhere, but it's crumbly still?
It kind of feels like wet sand, but it's not like, it's certainly not staying together when you like hold it.
Yes, that should work.
That should work? Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
yeah.
Hadar,
Uh-huh.
I think ours is too crumbly too. Don't you
Yeah,
think?
if you think it's too crumbly, then you can add some more melted butter. You can add olive oil. You can add some kind of oil that will put it together more, but it doesn't really matter as long as you push it into your pan nicely. It will still get nice and hard.
Hadar, mine's way too crumbly. So I'm doing more butter, but maybe there's too much graham cracker in there.
More butter or oil will just make it yummier.
Okay.
And more cracker also makes it yummy.
Yeah.
More what?
It's yummy.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can just
You can't go wrong.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. So when you're done with this step, just give a thumbs up, please. And you also just want to, if you're adding more oil or butter, you just want to make sure you don't add too much that it gets goopy. So see, mine's crumbly, but in little chunks of it, it's staying together. So that's what I meant, like here, this, it's staying together. It's not just crumbling when I pick it up. So that means that it's good. Okay, so that crust is ready. You can just set that aside and give a thumbs up when you're done. Okay, let me get to. You might want to wash your hands before you do the next step, because if you use your hands, then they're going to be very covered in crumbs. Okay, so just give a thumbs up when you're ready. Okay, looks like most everyone has their thumbs up. Okay, I think we're ready to move on. So now back to the cheesecake batter. We are going to add our maple syrup. We're gonna add a 1/2 cup of maple syrup. So you're gonna get your 1/2 cup measuring. Okay, so you're just gonna measure a 1/2 cup of maple syrup. Okay. So after you did that, you can just go ahead and pour it in. And I like to do it 1/2 and 1/2. So I pour in 1/2 and then mix. And then I pour in the other 1/2. just give me a thumbs up when you're done with that step, please. Okay, so just give a thumbs up when you're done with this step, please. Okay. Okay, looks like most everyone has their thumbs up. Okay, I think we're ready to move on. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna get a lemon zester. I have this kind, but there's also box lemon zesters that you can use. You can also use the kind that's you just zest the lemon like this. I'm gonna use this, but you're just gonna zest it for about a tablespoon. You're gonna get a tablespoon of lemon zest. And I've already washed my lemon, but I forgot you should wash your lemon before you do that. And then I'm gonna grab a tablespoon. So I'm gonna measure to see if I've achieved a tablespoon yet. Okay. So just give a thumbs up when you're done with this step.
I see lots of thumbs up
Okay.
from the,
Okay, looks like most everyone has thumbs up. So when you're done measuring that, you can just put it into your mixture. And then you're gonna wanna cut your lemons, some lemons in half. And then, okay. So just give a thumbs up when you're done zesting and cutting your lemons. Okay, looks like most everyone has their thumbs up. Okay, so after you cut your lemon, you're gonna want a strainer or some kind of thing that can strain out your juice. And then you're gonna measure a fourth or a quarter, a fourth cup of lemon juice. Yeah, and also you can also use a lemon juicer, but you don't have to. So I'm just gonna measure that out. Okay. And you may want to do a half of a lemon and then. So then I'm gonna measure it out. And then you're just gonna pour it into your batter. And you're most likely only gonna need half a lemon, but if your lemon is not giving you much juice, then you'll need more.
Or if you like it really lemony,
Yes,
you can put
which
as much in as you want.
I really like it, so I'm gonna add another. But you don't want to add too much more if you absolutely love lemon, because that can affect the consistency. So I just like adding like a teaspoon or half a teaspoon more because I love lemon.
That's a lot.
Hadar? How
What?
much lemon? I'm sorry, how much lemon juice goes in?
A 4th cup.
A quarter of a cup. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Does
just
the
give it thumbs
lemon
up.
go into your bowl now? The lemon juice?
Yes. Yes. And just give a thumbs up when you're done with that step. Okay. Looks like most everyone has their thumbs up. Okay, I'm gonna move on. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna mix it until it's nice, until it's creamy and smooth. And there may be some cream cheese little chunks, but that's really delicious to eat because it's like little cream cheese surprises in your cheesecake. So it's really delicious when you have it. Just give a thumbs up when you're done with that step. Okay, it looks like most everyone has thumbs up. So I think we're ready to move on. So what we're gonna do is we are going to bring back our crust and a pan. So I use a springform 9-inch. So it looks like this. But you don't have to use a springform. You can use like any 9-inch or 8-inch or 10-inch. Just a pan that will fit. And it doesn't have to be in springform because you can just cut and then it will come out. But I find using a springform is easiest, but it doesn't really matter. So now you're just gonna take your crust and pour it into your pan. And at first when you pour it in, it's gonna look like you have a lot, like it looks like there's a mountain of crust right here, but you're just gonna spread it out and it still looks like you have really thick, but then you just push it down and it becomes very small. And just gonna want it completely covered. Don't want this time for the crust to go up over onto the sides. You just want it on the bottom. So just give a thumbs up when you're done with this step, please. Oh, and also you can use, you can take parchment paper or some kind of food safe paper and put a glass over it and then just push with the glass, and that can make it nice and can make it a nice flat crust.
Just do it. Pass it down.
Okay, so like I take like a size like this and I like to push it on here and then take my glass and push it like this. It does not have to be a glass. So it should look like this. And sometimes it can make some cracks when you do that. So you may just want to push it down with your hands afterward. And just give a thumbs up when you're done.
I'm done. Done.
How thick should the crust be?
You just, it should be about like, I don't know, it doesn't really matter how thick it is. You just are gonna want to make sure you use all the batter that you made for the crust, and then it should be the right thickness. Because sometimes if you want it thicker, then you might want to not press as hard, but if you want it thinner, you could press hard. So it doesn't really matter how thick, and I'm not sure how thick it's supposed to be.
Because no matter how much graham cracker crust you have, you're still gonna want more.
True.
So just give a thumbs up when you're done with this step. Okay, it looks like most everyone has their thumbs up. And so what you're gonna do is you're going to go into the kitchen. So if you happen to have this kind of oven, then I will be very, very surprised because I haven't heard of this oven. It's a sharp superheated steam wall oven. And so does anyone here have that? Yes, I didn't think so. So you can make it seem like you have that, but I'm gonna move into the kitchen. So yes, I'll be back in a second. So I'll be back in a second. Well, no, I won't. I'm gonna switch.
It's just water for you.
No, I need the water to go back. Can you hear me?
It's okay.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna take a big pan like this size, and you are going to take a kettle and fill it with water. So let me just go fill this with water.
Hadar, did you say a cup of water?
So you're gonna fill it with water and then
I think she's heating up water.
Oh, okay.
I don't cut it. Do you want me to cut it?
Wait, what? Hello, Bonjour.
Why, Hadar, why the water?
Then put it on high.
so
Just
then
boil
you're
it.
gonna put your you're gonna boil your water that's in the kettle. You're gonna boil that. So while you have to boil that.
And
And I'm gonna
what does that
get this
do?
here.
I'm just, oh, I'm curious, what does the water do?
What's the water for?
What's the water for? Oh, she's coming back. Go do what you need to do, Jim.
Okay, so now what you're gonna do. So now what you're gonna do is you're going.
Right? Unplug what?
So
you go over the water thing again with the two different pans?
So you need a big, like a cookie pan, or just like any kind of like square, rectangle, a pan that you bake things in, but that this can fit in.
She's making a makeshift steam oven. So you're gonna fill that baking pan with water, and she's gonna show you. You're gonna rest your.
I'll show you.
Yeah. So you're
I'll
just
show you.
Hadar's just setting you up to do a makeshift.
Yeah, so you're boiling that water, and then you're going to pour your batter into the crust. So in a lot of recipes, you will bake your crust first, but this one you bake it at the same time. So you're just gonna get all the batter off, as much as you can get. And I am going to pour this into here. So I'm gonna use a silicone spatula to help with.
You might want to, because you didn't get the thick part.
It's all chunky. So I'm gonna pour it all in. I'm gonna get the sides and everything. I'm gonna use my silicone spatula. You don't have to use a silicone spatula. You can really use anything. But the silicone spatula is really helpful. You can use like a spoon or something, a wooden spoon, a metal spoon. But I'm gonna use this. If I don't want to burn it.
No, it's fine.
Okay, so just give me a thumbs up when you're done with that step. Okay, so I'll give, what?
I'm sorry, wait, where's my picture? Hold on. Okay, so we had to we went off for a little bit because we had to boil the water. We still don't know what the water was for.
Oh, so the water is going to be for the next step. The next step, you're not going to put it in this. You're going to use it for the baking, and I'll walk you through that really soon.
Okay.
So I'm just going to scoop all this cream cheese out.
Dad, you're very smart. You actually put.
Okay, hold on. I have to put us on mute. Just a sec.
You should be a good baker too, Zest.
Okay, so just give a thumbs up when you're done with this step.
Do you want me to blend it up? Okay. I'm gonna use this one.
You gotta come through these gestures.
Okay. So just give a thumbs up when you're done with this step. Okay, so looks like most everyone has their thumbs up. Okay, so now we're gonna take tinfoil. We're gonna get tinfoil. So So if you're using a springform pan, then you're gonna need this tinfoil, or just you may as well just use it for everything. So you're gonna get tinfoil, and you're going to, oops, I'm gonna place my tinfoil down. So I'm gonna take a rectangle piece of tinfoil. So it's gonna be shorter on one side and longer on the other. And then I'm going to make sure that the long part goes up to the top like this. And I'm gonna press it on. And right here, it's gonna go down. So I'm gonna fold it, go down. So I'm gonna fold it like this. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. Like this.
Can you tell us why you're doing this?
So I'm doing this because we're gonna place this in the water, and we don't want the water to get inside this. So you're gonna fold up all this tinfoil.
And what if you don't have tinfoil?
So if you don't have tinfoil, then you can just skip this step, and I'll tell you what to do when it's time to bake it. Oh gosh. You might want to have someone else help you with this, to lift up your pan and then get it into the position. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so then this is really long, so you're just gonna fold this up and then fold the short sides up, which the short sides will be, you're gonna want the short sides to be where the long side was before this, if you know, so then you're gonna grab scissors if it's too long, and just cut it like this very carefully. Okay, so you look at this, and then you're gonna just like fold it around, trying to make sure that there would be no way that water would be able to get into this. And then I am going to just trim this part that's a bit longer, and then, oh yeah, and could you please give a thumbs up when you're done with this step? So it should look like this, completely covered in tinfoil on the sides. Just give a thumbs up when you're done with this step. Okay, so just give a thumbs up when you're done with this step. And you actually just want to make sure that there's no sides just like going into your cake part. So you're just gonna want to trim those sides that might be able to go in, but you still want them to be completely covering the pan. Just give a thumbs up.
Be great to also just see if you can put your camera on what you're doing. That would be awesome. I see the Falls Village cheesecake. I see the Greensboro, the McMinnville.
So just give a thumbs up when you're done. And okay, looks like most everyone's done. So you're after you do this, you're just gonna want to bang it on your surface just a couple of times. You may want to use like the bottom of a spoon or something like this part to just like pop any bubbles that you might see. Like this.
I'm learning
Hadar,
something.
should we have the oven on?
Yes.
At what temperature?
275.
275. Okay.
So you're just gonna keep popping all those bubbles. And when there's only like little tiny bubbles, then that's fine. You don't need to pop those. But the big ones, you will want to pop them. Otherwise, it could make your cake just go like some big bubbles will go. And you don't really want that. Okay, so I'm gonna move into the kitchen. So I'm gonna switch. Okay, so I'm gonna place it into my pan. And so if you still have your water on the stove, it does not have to be boiling. You just want it warmed up. So after you place your cake on the pan, you're gonna want, oh, and first, you want to make sure your oven is ready before you do this step. So,
Check the shelf.
oh yes, and you also want to have some oven mitts on right now because you're not going to put them in yet, but you just want to check that your oven racks are in the correct positioning. You want them to be just lower than the middle. So I'm putting one of them on top and putting the other one in the just lower the middle. And so now that's ready. And now you just have to do that. And give me a thumbs up when you're done. Yes. Yeah, and so just give a thumbs up when you're done with this step. Okay. Looks like most everyone has their thumbs up. Okay. Okay, so it looks like most everyone has their thumbs up. So now you're going to, okay, so if you do not have tinfoil, you're going to want to just take your pan, fill it with water, and place it on, place the pan on an upper rack, and then have the cheesecake underneath without the tinfoil. And that will also still have the steam feel, but I'm gonna do it like this. So now, if you have your cake covered in tinfoil, and you're gonna have it in the pan, open your oven and place the pan with the cheesecake on the lower rack. And then you're going to take your water and you're gonna Or, oh gosh.
Let me do it.
Yes, I'm gonna have my dad do that. You're gonna want to grow me to do that.
Here, you can hold this.
Yes. So you don't want it too full, so you're just gonna, I don't know if you can see that, but you're just gonna want to kind of pull it out, put it in the corner, and you're gonna put as much water as you can put in. Without it, you're gonna need a 1/4 inch, and that's like a fourth or a quarter,
At least a quarter. Okay.
at least a quarter submerging. And then you're going to bake your cheesecake for an hour and 50 minutes.
Well, this one says an hour and a half. Okay.
An hour and 30 to an hour and 50. So you may want to set it. My oven, I normally have to do an hour and 50, but you can also do an hour and 30 and check it. And if it needs more time, you can add more up until an hour and 50. So when you take your cheesecake out of the oven, it should not be like completely firm and not jiggly. It should be like a bit jiggly, but the sides should be firmed a little bit, and it shouldn't be like liquid, but it should be jiggly. It's not going to be completely set, because then you have to let it cool for like 20 minutes out of the fridge, and then in the fridge for like at least 4 hours. You can also do overnight, but yeah. So
Any questions?
does anyone have any questions?
So we put ours in for an hour and 30 at 275, correct? Oh.
Bobby, if you have a question, you're muted.
Oh, I am?
We shared the one with
Oh.
the sledding.
Hi. Hadar,
We can't hear you.
Really? That's weird. Oh, because I'm recording. I don't want to record.
I heard you for a
I
second.
can hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So we put it in for an hour and 30 at 275, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And we
That's
put,
that's an hour and a half.
right.
It might take longer than an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, an hour and 30 to 100 an hour and 50.
Okay, and we put water in the pan. Okay. All right. So when this is done, what should it look like in case we're not on with you?
So it should look somewhat jiggly
Somewhat
in
jiggly.
the center, but the edges should not be that jiggly. It should only be like the edges should, when you shake it, should only jiggle like this, but the middle should kind of be like this.
Okay.
Got it.
How long do we have to let it sit?
It
And how long do we
What?
let it sit before we decorate it with strawberries or whatever?
So you're gonna want to let it sit outside the fridge for like 20 minutes, and then in the fridge for at least 4 hours, because you really want it to harden so that when you cut into it, it's not just liquid and like, you know.
So we'll come back and eat it later.
If you're like us, you might taste it after an hour or two and it'll just be soft.
Well, this was wonderful.
Oh, I'm sorry. You are gonna actually, instead of letting it cool out of the oven, instead of the fridge, you're gonna open your oven like this much and let it cool for an hour, and then let it cool outside the fridge for 20 minutes, and
Okay.
then in the
Cool
fridge.
it in the oven for an hour, outside the oven for an hour. and then inside the fridge for 4 hours. Glad we did this early.
Yeah,
Hadar, could you send everyone the recipe now?
Yeah,
So that
yes.
we can
Good.
follow. Thank
Great.
you. Yeah, that'll help.
Yeah, and so there's one thing that's not on the recipe. I made up the recipe for the strawberry sauce that we're about to make. So that recipe, there's not a recipe for it, but I can like write it down. You want me to?
Yeah.
And then
Good
take a picture and send it, because like I kind of just add
Want some of your-
them. But yeah, so we can make. Are we gonna make the strawberry sauce?
Well, if you can, anyone who wants to make the strawberry sauce can stay on. And anyone who just wants to have the cheesecake can just, say goodbye.
Yes. If you want to make the strawberry sauce and you have the ingredients, then you can stay on. But if you don't want to, you can leave.
Thank you. This has
Well,
been so wonderful. Where's Ben? I want to
Can we
thank you.
stay
Hadar.
on and not
This was
make the
great.
sauce?
Yes.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day. Thank you so much.
Everyone who's leaving now, enjoy your cheesecake.
Bye.
Great to have
Yeah.
you on.
Thank you. Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day, Bobby.
Mother's Day, Bobby.
And happy Mother's Day to you, Miss Carolyn.
Thanks everyone for coming. Please stay
Oh,
on
it
if
was
you want to do sauce.
wonderful.
Happy
Thank
Mother's
you.
Day,
Happy
Michael.
Mother's Day.
Enjoy, Michael and Eliana.
We will.
And you can use any berry for your sauce that we're about to do.
Yeah.
And it's probably
Wow,
just
that's
how
quite a
long for the sauce?
recipe.
Only like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's
So it's
chit-chop,
about 10
very
minutes
quick.
for the sauce.
You want to make the sauce out? No, any, do it with any curry.
You can use this, right? The butter one?
No.
You can use blueberries.
Yeah, you should.
That's
I
awesome.
said you can do this sauce with
Or do
any,
you want to make it with blueberries?
I don't like food on it.
Okay. So if you're gonna make this, so basically I like to use any kind of berry. And if you still have the saucepan that you melted the butter in, that would be really good to use because it makes it extra nice and creamy. So I like to use frozen strawberries because they already, like since they're frozen, they have water. So you're just gonna put about like a cup and a half of strawberries in, depending on how much sauce. If you want only enough sauce to put on your cake, then I recommend doing a half cup. But I like a lot of extra sauce, so I do a cup to a cup and a half. Okay, so
You just,
what?
so you just put those I have fresh strawberries. Just
Yes,
put them.
if you're using fresh, then you're gonna want to add like a teaspoon of water, or like a half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon of water if you're using fresh. These are okay, so I only need 4 strawberries right now because there are really big strawberries. So you're gonna want to have them whole strawberries. And I like to start with a little bit and then I add on. So I put my strawberries on and I have my stove on only 2. And then I'm gonna put about, so I don't measure my maple syrup because some people like it really sweet, some people don't. I don't like it so sweet because the cheesecake's already super sweet. So I add just like a little bit and then I taste it and add more. So I'm just gonna add a tiny bit and you can add it depending on how sweet you want it. So once you do that, we're going to add your lemons.
Already cut. I gave you one that's already cut.
So you're gonna squeeze in a teaspoon of lemon juice. Just give a thumbs up when you're done. Okay, and then after you add your lemon juice, you're gonna zest your lemons, and then you can give a thumbs up when you're done.
How much lemon zest?
So it doesn't really matter how much you use. It depends how much you like lemon. So I really like lemon, so I do about like a tablespoon. And for the lemon juice, I do. Did I already say? Well, if I didn't, I like to use like half a lemon for the lemon juice, and then I use about like a tablespoon or two of lemon zest.
And did you say something about water?
Oh yes, so if you are making your strawberry sauce with fresh lemons, I mean not lemons, fresh strawberries, then you're gonna want to add a tiny bit of water if you're using fresh strawberries, because frozen strawberries already have water because they're frozen. So you're gonna just add like a tiny bit, like a half or a teaspoon or a teaspoon of water to it. But since I'm using frozen, I'm not gonna add any water. But so that's literally all you need, and then you're gonna turn it on simmer or low, or as low as your thing goes, and just let it cook for a while. You can just let it cook for like an hour, depending on how cooked and mushy you want it. If you want it not that mushy, you could only cook it for like half hour. But if you want it like just like almost like jam, but kind of liquidy, then you cook it for like an hour to an hour and a half.
Do you think that the cake is done yet? I can't imagine that how long it's going to take just to get the water going. I don't think 90 minutes will do it.
No, no, that. Does the water have to be boiling?
I don't know.
No.
It will probably not be.
It just wants, it's water. So
Well,
the temperature in the oven will make that water turn to steam. Doesn't have to.
we'll see. That's what it's about. That's what it's
Hadar,
Yeah.
where's Hadar? Listen, honey, if I don't leave now, I don't have time to take a shower because the cheesecake's in the oven. I got to do it fast. So I'm not going to make the sauce. I have to run upstairs in that hour, and so I'm not going to make the sauce.
Nancy, you don't need a shower.
Yeah, really. You're fine.
Yeah. Well, then Scott and Allison might not be happy with me when I get there.
Well, this is about as far as we can get in the live cooking part, because this takes a while. It's just gonna be on the stove simmering.
Yeah.
And everybody's got your cheesecake. So I would just ask that after you make your cheesecake and it comes out of the oven,
and then you decorate it if you made sauce.
Yeah, then send us some pictures. You can send pictures to my email.
If you didn't make sauce, you can just add berries.
Okay. Just add it. Yeah. Yeah. So, but I didn't know it was going to take that long to do the sauce and yeah. So I don't want to ruin the cheesecake.
Oops.
So,
I'm
goodbye.
putting my email in here.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. Hadar, it was
Okay,
just
Sweetie,
amazing.
wonderful.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Super
Alana and
awesome.
Jamie, thanks for organizing, and Alana for doing the tech support.
Yeah.
Happy
Matthew,
Mother's Day,
good to see you
Shoshana.
here.
Happy
Hmm?
Mother's Day, Shoshana.
Oh, thanks. Matthew,
Hadar,
nice to see you
Hadar,
representing
you were-
elsewhere.
Hadar,
Nice to see
were
you
great.
all.
Good
Thanks,
to see
Hadar.
you.
You're the
Happy
you're the
Mother's Day,
best.
everyone.
Great to see you, Ibby and Lev
And enjoy your
and Grandma.
cheesecake. Send
Who just
pictures.
said that? Who is that?
Those look like
Okay.
awesome frozen
Good.
strawberries you've got there, Lev. Save some for the cheesecake. Did you pick those?
Hi, Jamie.
Yes, they're from last year's.
Yeah. Oh my God, I can't believe you made it all the
I
way
found them at the
through.
bottom of the freezer.
Yeah.
We had some left.
Happy
Nice.
Mother's
It
Day.
was so fun.
Yay.
Okay, enjoy.
Good job, everybody. Good job.
Bye, love you.
Bye.
Here-
Yeah.
Here's our